Hey everybody, welcome back to Off the Wall. My name is Mike, and we're diving into episode 9 of season 3 of the Orville New Horizons. This show just does not miss, guys. This show does not miss. It just doesn't. This is another fantastic episode. This was very sci-fi actiony more than anything else. Some great moments of plot development, some surprises, beginning, middle, and end. Just another really great stellar episode of the Orville. We see what I think a lot of people kind of predicted was going to happen. The Mocklins have joined forces with the Krill now because they're like, screw the Union, we're going to do our own thing. And but the Kalon are still out there, so let's work together, because if any alliance can stand up to the Kalon, it's us. And the Union's trying to figure out what to do next. But we see they've developed, well, not they, but Charlie and Isaac have developed some kind of weapon that can just pulverize Kalon within, I think it's like 10,000 kilometers or something like that. And it just wipes out all these ships, and they're ready to use it kind of as a bargaining chip to try and get some peace from the Kalons, basically saying, look, we've got this weapon now, leave us alone, like let's just coexist peacefully so we don't have to use this thing. Because they at one point considered just straight up going to the homeworld and using it and just wiping out the Kalon, which Ed kind of brings up, like, that's genocide. Like that's genocide. And yeah, it's a complicated, it's like here is an entire race of beings that exist solely to wipe us out. Do we try to beat them to the punch? And ultimately it's voted no. We use it as a bargaining chip. And we get a surprise turn of events when Ted Danson's character Ted Danson, who plays Admiral Ted Danson, who plays Admiral Perry, surprisingly leads kind of a covert operation to steal the device and take it to the Mocklin Krill Alliance and say, hey, go wipe out the Kalon. It's fine. I don't care. I hate you guys and don't like anything about you, but I hate the Kalon more. Please go wipe them out. And then Admiral Perry ends up being killed when he tries to leave afterwards. I love Ted Danson. Cheers to me is the greatest sitcom ever created, and I've enjoyed seeing him on the show. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that he turned out to be a bit of a prick, but from what I understand, that's kind of what Ted Danson's like. I'm kidding. But so that's kind of the end of that. We get to see some more interactions now that Clyden's back. There's a great interaction with Clyden and Bortus. They go to Kelly's home in the mountains on Earth while they're there. There's some great interactions with the crew. We get to see more of Scott Grimes sing. I think everyone tends to forget Scott Grimes is a musician and has released several albums. He's a very talented musician. I'm glad that he gets to have those moments on the show. And Charlie sings with him, and Ann Winters does a great job singing. And it was an interesting episode to watch Ann Winters as Charlie Burke be in, because this has kind of been her arc throughout the whole season, is she hates the Kalon because of what happened during the battle with them in season 2. There's been a lot of character development between her and Isaac, to where obviously she's grown to at least respect Isaac enough to develop this weapon with him, especially after what we had at the end of the last episode with the emotional Kalon. But yeah, there is still that whole, like, should we or shouldn't we? And, ultimately with where the episode goes, which, by the way, I mean, like, I know I've already said a lot, but, yeah. She ultimately makes that sacrifice to give her life to stop the weapon from being used to commit genocide. And it's a real turning point for the overall story of the show. And it's kind of, it's almost like the inevitable end for the character, given the way things have worked with her. Cause I've been very open to, like, even though I give like every episode like a 10 out of 10, like the one thing I haven't been super thrilled with was the use of the character of Charlie Burke. Where she's introduced in the first episode as being this super hyper intelligent person who hates the Kalon, and we don't see her do the whole super intelligent thing very often. It's like 3 or 4 episodes again before we, or maybe even longer, before we ever see her use her quantum math. I don't know what it is, the quantum four-dimensional thinking thing. It's pretty much all she ever does. Like, her entire character could pretty much be summed up as just someone who really, really hates the Kalon. To the point where like I said, I have said several times on the show, like, it got tiring after a while. And in the last few episodes, they have done more to develop that and develop her as a character. And so, but I'm also like, I didn't see a lot of longevity for that character outside of that, because once we get to where she gets over her thing with the Kalon, if she ever does, there's not much else we have going on for her. So, her dying in the show kind of just makes sense. But it also wasn't just an arbitrary character death. It had meaning, it had weight. And it was kind of the ultimate point A to point Z for her character development. When you go from how she's introduced to what is something we can have her do, that's the ultimate sign of growth as a character, which is be willing to going from doing anything to kill Kalon to doing anything to protect them. So it was a great moment of character development that I kind of wish we had spent a bit more time throughout this show developing to that point, but they did a very good job in the last few episodes doing that as well. So, you know, six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. There's some absolutely fantastic acting once again from Seth MacFarlane. Some great moments between him and the Krill Chancellor Talea, who the topic of their child together comes up again, and he. Talea is taken under arrest, and she's to stand trial on Earth for war crimes. And he's like, look, I can't stop this from happening. You're going to Earth, you're going to be on trial, you're going to prison. Let me raise our daughter. Like, let me be there for our daughter. And Talea tries to use their daughter as a bargaining chip, and that's kind of that nail in the coffin with him of like, wow, there is just no hope for you at all, that you'd be willing to sink that low. And he knows that, yeah, she's beyond redemption at this point. I don't see her making it out of this season. If we come back to her next episode, I don't see her surviving this season. It'll probably be some moment of attempted redemption. She sacrifices herself for Ed or something, or maybe tells him where he can go get their daughter from. But still, I mean, not a bad performance from anyone on the episode. The development with the Kalon, seeing Charlie sacrifice herself to protect them, it's such a moment of selflessness that doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever, and the Kalon simply just can't wrap their heads around it. And that's kind of the kicking off point for them to realize, like, okay, maybe there actually is something to these biologicals. These are not the biologicals that created us. And we learned a lot about the servitude and slavery they were subjected to in their first days. And so it's kind of an episode for growth all around, because there's a lot of growth from the Kalon in this, where they really do have that realization of, we have been incorrect. And it's such a hard thing for them to grasp. It wasn't until a human made this sacrifice on their behalf that they are able to see firsthand what organic life forms are capable of. Next week is the final episode of season 3, and I hope to God it is not the final episode of the show. The episode is called Future Unknown, and that makes me a little uneasy, because the future of the Orville is unknown. They had a panel at Comic-Con, and everyone was kind of hoping that's where the season 4 announcement was going to come from. The only announcement we really got was that they are going to move all 3 seasons, well, not move, but all 3 seasons will be available on Disney Plus. And they're going to continue to release the new episodes on Hulu, because Hulu is owned by Disney. They're going to continue to release the new episodes on Hulu, and assuming there are new episodes, that is. So I'm hoping that if they're going to move it to Disney Plus, that means they're going to continue to put new episodes out on Hulu. I'm waiting with bated breath to see if we get a season 4. I'm really hoping we get that announcement soon, if not maybe like right after next week's finale. But the show needs a season 4. Please, 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 if by some random chance anyone who has the power to make this happen is watching the show, give the Orville another season. The show's too good. It's easily one of the best shows on streaming right now. I say this is the last weeks. I put this up there with with the boys rather. And having just watched the first 3 episodes of Harley Quinn season 3, I'm putting it up there. It's like there's such great streaming series right now, and the Orville is definitely one of the best. So it needs more. Please give them more. Please let these people continue to make this amazing show that we all love. But hey, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. What you think about this episode? Come on, give us a season 4, right? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know on Twitter as well. All the Twitter information is in the description of this video. You can like this video, subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bells. We got so much stuff coming down the pipeline. Soul and I are now doing watch-alongs for Harley Quinn season 3. My Stranger Things watch-alongs are coming back here next week. We've got all our Comic-Con reactions and stuff up there as well. So many things. Good Lord, so many things. Watch it all here, and we'll be back again next time with another episode on Off the Wall. Bye!